Hello and welcome. Today we are delving into the fascinating world of advanced features within Jodoo forms. We have three powerful tools to explore: aggregate tables, automations, and data factory. Please note that this session will take approximately 15 minutes. Let's dive right in. First, let's talk about aggregate tables, a vital tool for data aggregation. Some might wonder why we still need aggregate tables since we already have formulas. The problem with formula is that it can only handle the calculations in a single form, not cross-form calculations. If we want to aggregate data from multiple forms, we need help from aggregate tables. Once the data is aggregated, we can call it in forms and dashboards using data linkage, related query, and related data. Let's go further with an example of office supplies management. Imagine you are managing office supplies and you want to ensure that members can only submit requests for items that are currently in stock. However, the stock levels keep changing due to various processes. The changes are recorded by multiple forms, including the registration form, order form, request form, and return form. In this case, we will need the help of an aggregate table. We can go to App Management, then go to Aggregate Tables under Advanced Feature to create one. Here, I have created an aggregate table for Office Supplies Management in Advanced. We can click the little pencil to get into the edit mode for details. Typically, we start by selecting your data source. If it is from a single form, use the single form and select the form from the drop-down list. In our case, we have multiple source forms, so I will go to the multi-form join and select all the related forms. To aggregate the records, we need to find the fields with matching values to connect the forms. In our case, there will be item ID, name, and category. It is okay for these fields to be named differently in different forms. As long as they have the same type of value, we can use these fields to connect the forms. Once your forms are connected, you can set filters to include only valid or necessary records for calculation. For example, in the case of workflow forms, you might want to consider only completed workflow records. Next, we need to set up the row header and measure fields. The aggregate table will add or subtract to aggregate and display the records for the measure fields based on the row header fields. Basically speaking, row header fields stand for the information we know, and measure fields represent the information we want to know. In our example, we know the item ID, name, and category, so the calculation is based on these fields. They are the row header fields. And we want to calculate the stock quantity, unit price, list price, and order quantity, so these fields will be the measure fields. As I mentioned, I want to make sure that we have stock for the item before the members can submit a request. Let's add a condition to validate the stock quantity is larger than 0. Now, if the stock quantity is insufficient, members will receive a prompt stating insufficient stock. That covers all for the aggregate tables. They're incredibly useful for data aggregation. But what about calculations beyond simple addition and subtraction? That's where Data Factory comes in. Data Factory is an ETL tool for advanced data processing and interrogation. ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. It combines data from multiple sources to generate complex summary reports. As demoed earlier, the equipment register has subtabs for different types of equipment records. These records are actually called from the data stream of the data factory. With the data factory, we can easily generate a summary report based on complicated calculations. To create a data stream in the data factory, head to the App Management and Data Factory. Here I will demonstrate using a data stream I prepared earlier. Click the little pencil to edit the data stream. Here we have a brief guide with steps for building a data stream in the top right corner. Each data stream follows a step-by-step process. We begin by preparing records, inputting and tidying them up, then organizing them. We can click the book to view or hide the guidance. In our case, we need to combine the records from each process with the equipment details, project, and company information to generate the summary report. The first step to make preparations for the records is to input and tidy up the records. In our example, we will focus on the sign-in process. First, we can drag and drop to add an input node into the stream, and set the data source as the equipment sign-in form. Select the fields we need for the data stream. Then, we will have an input node with all the records called from the equipment sign-in form. Next, we can connect a data filter node to the input node to filter out the useless data. In our case, the valid records are the records of completed workflows, so we will set the filter to be workflow status equals completed. Now that the records are input and cleaned, we just need to rearrange the records with the Field Settings node. We can reorder, hide, or rename fields, and we can even add calculated fields to the field settings. Now we have finished the preparation for the sign-in process. We need to repeat these steps for the other processes. Input the records, clean the data, and organize the fields. Once ready, it's time to merge the records. It is the show time of the union node. After grouping the records of the same type together, we have a comprehensive data set. We can go to the data preview to review the results. As we also want to combine the equipment details, related projects, and company information into the summary report, we will input them and connect them to the data stream with a right join, which returns the data joined according to the right form. We have 4 types of joins: inner join, left join, right join, and full join. Inner join returns the intersection of both fields. Left join returns the data joined according to the left form, while the right join returns the opposite. Full join returns the data union of both forms. If you are still confused, get to the linked help dots for more detailed explanation and examples. With your data stream prepared, connect them to an output node to complete the process. What we will get is a data stream that summarizes all the records from the equipment management system. In this demonstration, we didn't delve into advanced features like group by, pivot, and dedupe nodes. They are invaluable for organizing and categorizing data. If we click the question mark next to the data processing, there will be a brief introduction to the data processing fields that we can refer to while using these fields. Still, if you need to learn more, go to the Help Center for detailed guidance. Lastly, let's explore automations. This feature automates record creation, updates, and deletion based on trigger actions. For example, when you have an approved vehicle request, you can set up an automation to automatically change the vehicle status to leased, so that others wouldn't send a duplicate request for the same vehicle. To configure automations, get into the Edit mode and head to the Extension section. Go to the Automations. Click New Automation or edit the existing automation. For the settings of the trigger, we want to make sure that the vehicle is indeed not available, so we will add conditions to confirm that the vehicle request is approved and the vehicle has not been returned yet. For the triggered action, we want Jodoo to update the vehicle status of the specific vehicle. To ensure it is the correct vehicle, we will add a condition to confirm that the vehicle's license number in the vehicle request is the same as that in the registration form. If all the conditions are met, once there is an update in the vehicle request, the vehicle status in the registration form will be updated accordingly. We can also set similar automations for other processes like vehicle return and maintenance to sync the updates. We can go to the App Management and find Automations to check all the automations created in this app. Take an example of the vehicle return. We can add more than one triggered action if needed. Automations significantly boost system efficiency by automating routine tasks. That's all for this session. The examples here are just the basic applications of the advanced features. If we dig deep into the advanced features, especially the data factory, we might need over an hour to talk about the features. These examples only scratch the surface, but they should provide a solid introduction. If you are hungry for more, refer to our detailed help docs or request a one-on-one demo via the question mark icon. In our next and final session, I will guide you through the exciting process of app building, get you ready to put your newfound knowledge to practical use. See you there!